So if your website was a staff member, would you give them a raise or would you fire them? Because many practices have brochure-style websites that are just collecting dust. And in this episode, we plan to fix that.
Welcome to the Business of Hearing podcast, the #1 marketing and practice growth podcast for high-performing private practice hearing care leaders. My name's Ollie Luke. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, and let's have a chat.
So welcome along to another episode of the Business of Hearing podcast. It's school holidays here in the UK as I record this, and that means it's Friday, and Friday is the day that I have a mate date with my son Alfie, and he comes along for whatever I'm doing. So Alfie, come and sit with me. We're going to ask you some questions. I'm intrigued. We will get to the good stuff in a moment. Come and sit down. All right. So Alfie, I've got 3 questions for you. You're going to have to speak into the microphone.
What is it?
Question 1. What does Daddy do for work?
He is an entrepreneur. So he helps people, especially business of hearing.
Oh man, you do good listening. Finish the sentence. My favourite thing about Daddy is
that he always plays with me.
Beautiful. And last one. If I could change one thing about Daddy, it would be
You can give softer cuddles.
all right. Don't too hard. All right. Thanks, dude. All right, that's all I need. You can go back now and carry on with your drawings.
Yes, bye guys.
He's a natural. Watch the wires. All right, so let's actually get into the good stuff here. Thanks for the meet and greet that occurred there, and thankfully for me, no answers that came out that made me realise I was a terrible father. But let's dive into this episode because we're talking websites and the puzzle that exists with a lot of websites right now, which is they're brochure websites. They serve a purpose and follow a playbook that is no longer too relevant for today's world, because what we're seeing, not just in our industry, but across nearly every industry, is a pretty steep traffic decline. And it's all due to, fundamentally, AI search. And more than anything right now, AI overviews, which means that historically, even if we go back 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, if somebody searched something on Google, let's say it's a question about hearing loss, a question about their ringing in their ears, what they're then presented with is blue links to websites like yours that answer those questions, blog posts, pieces of content, maybe it's a YouTube video where it's somebody talking about that experience and the answer. However, what they see now due to Google's AI overviews is a synthesized AI written answer that is pulled from multiple sources, up to 20 different sources in order to find the answer, which means is we're seeing clicks decline. We're seeing the number of people search and the number of people that then go on to click a website drastically decline, which means the playbook for most practices, which has been be the local Wikipedia of hearing care, answer the questions that people are asking on Google, and that's the way you win traffic and then have the ability to build affinity, trust and relationships with the people on your website to let them know that you can help them and be one of the top options on their list when they are at a stage where they're ready to move forward, is now a puzzle because the AI overviews are answering those questions, which means the old playbook for websites, it's challenge, because the old playbook for marketing in our industry was have a website that explain what you did, answer blogs, answer the questions that people are asking, post on social media a few times, spend money on SEO to try to be #1 locally for relevant search terms, and then maybe spend a little money on paid ads, local ads, etc. But once the platform starts to shift, we've got a challenge. Like you're looking at a map right now and following the map, but the road has fundamentally moved beneath you. So we look at this from a website puzzle perspective right now. It makes it a little bit challenging, and there's a big stat that most people don't really pay attention to that I think is becoming the most important statistic, data point that you need to give key consideration to on your website if you want it to be ready for where the future of the web is going, especially in our industry where inquiries are everything. And that is a simple stat, which is conversion rate. Now, historically, we haven't really cared too much about it. It's important, but like get more traffic to the website has been always the goal. Where am I on Google? How do I get more traffic? But now when we're seeing decline, we're seeing AI search answer questions, and we're seeing people come to your website once they've done their research and are now ready to progress. The goal becomes, how does my website allow people to visit, give them what they need to see in order to know that we can help them, and then make it very easy for them to inquire. And that is the key thing. And this is the game of conversion rate. How many people that come to your website go on to make an inquiry, whether that's to call you to schedule, whether that's to schedule online, whether that's to fill out a form to say, I want to schedule an appointment, whether that's to request a call back about a question they've got because they want to schedule. What percentage of the people that visit go on to schedule? And in the traditional brochure focused website world that we've been in, where it's like, let's just put information and explain what we do, conversion rate isn't even a consideration. It's been an education game. It's been put as much information explaining who we are and what we do as possible. And conversion rate is almost second in any form of priority. That now needs to pivot, because if we play this out and we zoom out and we forget all the BS about websites, whether speed or content, what's the goal of a website? It's to get inquiries. So when people go looking for services like yours, it makes it easy for them to inquire with you. That is the fundamental purpose of it. And we're getting back to those roots, which means that if we look at this and go, okay, what's the website game and conversions the answer? We've got to say, okay, what does the website fundamentally need to do in order to make inquiry very, very easy? And it comes down to 4 W's in my view. The first thing your website needs to do within them first 5 seconds is show who you're for and what you do. Like, that's it, who and what. So we talk about the methodology, the 9-step methodology. You've got to start with who. You need to have clear identity on exactly who you help and why you're the logical option for them over all other options available to them. But you need to say, we help these people to solve this challenge. Like, that needs to be very clear. 5 seconds is the maximum you're going to get for somebody to look, see if you pull them in or push them away, and then either bounce or stay. So we need to say, okay, here's who we're for, here's what we do. You then need to answer the 3rd W, which is the why. Here's why we're the logical option for you. And then it's where they need to go to take the next step. What does that fundamentally look like? Well, website needs to very clearly articulate who you're for and what you do. Make it a big statement at the top. Don't just say, are you struggling to hear, ? Or many of the cliche things that we see on many hearing care websites. Focus on who you're for, what you do. Helping people in this area to achieve better hearing since 1965. Whatever that may be, make sure it's very clear. Then have the evidence. Evidence is super clear. Here's all the people we've helped. Here's how many people we've helped. Here's the case studies. Here's the testimonials, whatever that may be. And then ensuring that this is optimized for conversion rate. Click here to call. Click here to schedule. Multiple options throughout the page. And I'll try and include a few visuals along with this video, and even in the show notes, share some great examples for this. But if you can get those foundations right and know that web traffic is going to decrease, you'll see it on your reports. It's going to happen more and more. It's not an industry challenge. It's a worldwide web challenge right now for any small and independent business. Traffic is going to decline on what we've historically seen, because education, that has been the fundamental strategy for websites, is now not our job. Google or AI search is answering questions. People are then getting the research and then finally coming to websites like ours when they're ready to progress. So we're going to see less traffic, but more people coming to the website that are further down the decision-making process, further research and conversion rates increase. And just to give a bit of transparency on this, what we've seen as an industry average for a long time is around 1% of people that come to websites will make an inquiry, given that the vast majority of people coming to hearing care websites are in the research phase, they're looking on behalf of a loved one, etc. What we're seeing right now by really doubling down on conversion rate optimization is we're currently averaging about 4.2% of all inquiries, all traffic converting to an inquiry. And our goal is get this to 10%. We want 1 in 10 people that come to websites to take the next step, take the next action. That is what Nirvana, that is what our utopia looks like, and that is what we're striving for with our members in the inner circle. But the stat of what's our traffic right now, don't even worry about it. It's going to become less and less important, just like being number 1 on Google is going to lose its importance in an AI search world where that is the old playbook. The focus is the people that come to our website, how do we convert them to an inquiry? And that is the goal of websites right now. Look, if your website's not working for you and you want an extra opinion on it, you want to see if it's AI search ready, if you want somebody to look over it and point out a few things that could be performing better, then I'd love to be that person. My team and I will take a look, give you a little bit of feedback, point you in the right direction, score it in a few areas, and share specifically where your areas of attention need to be, because the web is changing very, very fast. And to use the analogy before, many people are still looking at a map that is no longer relevant, even though the road and the terrain has moved. So unless you're focused on where the world is going and you're continuing to play on the same playbook, it's going to be a very, very painful situation as you become slightly obsolete or your strategy loses a lot of relevance. So everything is shifting very, very heavily right now. If you need some assistance in understanding how that looks and what you need to do in order to future-proof your practice, then I would love to have that conversation with you. But appreciate you joining us for this episode, and I'll be back again next week with another episode of the Business of Hearing podcast. Appreciate your time, and I will speak to you again very soon.
And there we have it. Another episode has come to an end, and I have a quick favour to ask. If you have found this helpful, then who do you know who should listen to this podcast? I strongly believe a rising tide lifts all boats, and right now, private practice needs to stick together to fight these big, gormless groups and these manufacturer-owned Goliaths that are looking to take market share from us. Consider who should be listening, pass on the word about the Business of Hearing podcast, and I'll see you again next week.